welcome. Tonight, President Bola Tinubu tells delegates at the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development that Africa deserves 2 permanent seats on the United Nations Security Council. Pengassan President Festus Osifo urges government and the private sector to prioritize the welfare of workers in the oil and gas sector to boost productivity. Widespread condemnation trails the assault on the Youth Corps member in Anra State as the government hands over suspected vigilante members to police. And Israel calls for up 60,000 reservists ahead of a planned offensive on Gaza City.
And on African Development Bank in Japan unveiled $5.5 billion Africa financing deal.
On Sports News tonight, Nigeria's D Tigers are out of title contention at the FIBA Afrobasket in Angola after losing to Senegal by 75 to 91 points in the quarterfinal.
Mr. Nyesom Wike flags off Wari Township water project for residents of the area.
Africa deserves 2 permanent seats on the United Nations Security Council, and that's according to President Bola Tinubu. The president, who made this appeal at the ongoing Tokyo International Conference for African Development, called on the Japanese government to support the campaign for reforms in the United Nations organs to give African countries a greater voice. Apart from the permanent seat, the president is also calling for additional seats in the non-permanent seat category of the Security Council. According to a statement by the presidential spokesman, Bayo Onunuga, it says the president also appealed for market-driven cooperation and partnerships across nations rather than the appeals for aid and handouts. The Japanese Prime Minister, Shigeru Ishiba, emphasized the importance of mutual understanding, local solutions, and collaborative efforts for Africa's development. And back here in Nigeria, the president of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengassan, Mr. Festus Osifo, is asking for improved welfare for workers in the oil and gas sector in order to improve their productivity. Speaking at the annual Pengassan Energy and Labor Summit in the nation's capital, Mr. Osifo says that any worker who has to worry about how to take care of his family will not give his best output on the job. He's therefore calling on the government and the private sector to increase support for the workers whom he describes as the engine room of any meaningful development. Our correspondent Delio Moyeni reports.
It's the 4th edition of the annual Pengassan Energy and Labour Summit, organized by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria.
Solidarity!
With the theme, Building a Resilient Oil and Gas Sector, Advancing HSC, ESG, Investment and Incremental Production, the president of Pengassan wants more done for workers, who he calls the backbone of any economy.
Mr. President, honorable ministers, regulators, head of government parastatals, investors need certainty. Investors need certainty for medium to long-term planning. Policy somersault, frequent changes to laws doesn't aid stability. At best, it is disincentive to investment. We will focus on our members' well-being, from leadership skill to cardiovascular health, wealth creation, and estate planning.
In their contributions, some of the special guests at the event harp on policy stability.
It is about workforce that powers rigs, refineries, and research labs. It is about labor policies that protect, empower, and evolve with time.
We need to take steps that will increase the volumes. And one of the ways we can, increase the volumes in Nigeria is for those license holders. You will agree with me that there was a marginal bid round a few years ago where over 60 people got licenses. If each of them produces even 2,000, like the 120,000 barrels a day. But today, the records available to me clearly shows that maybe less than 5, 6 of them have been able to make the investments needed up to production.
Investment thrives on stability. Ladies and gentlemen, there is always the desire to tinker with laws, tinkers with policies. However, as much as we do that, where it is absolutely necessary, it should not be lost on us.
The first day of the summit hopes to explore ways of achieving incremental production through investment, a key part of the final report of the summit. Dele Omoyeni, Channels Television News.
In a renewed effort to strengthen the fight against crude oil theft and protect Nigeria's vital oil infrastructure, Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited has partnered with top private security services to organize a 3-day capacity building training for its operatives and personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. The training, holding in Warri, Delta State, is designed to sharpen skills in safeguarding pipelines and other critical national assets.
This training brings together field operatives from Tantita Securities, the NSCDC, other stakeholders in the security space with a focus on improving coordination, conflict management with host communities, and understanding the legal frameworks guiding pipeline protection.
So, are we good to go?
Representatives of the Managing Director and the Head of Technical, Tantita Security Services, say the initiative reflects the company's commitment to improving field operations and boosting national oil output.
The only places we are having some little issues, pockets of issues, are not the main pipelines, are the flow lines and the wellheads. I know when they talk about wellhead, it's scattered. And you guys are still doing your best to go beyond your area of responsibility.
I encourage you to take full advantage of the knowledge and practical exercises that this program offers. Ask questions, challenges, assumptions, and most importantly, cultivate the teamwork that is essential to the success of this joint training.
Other partners believe the training will also build better synergy between security contractors, government agencies, and community vigilantes who operate in oil-producing areas.
This is the second one in a row. It is geared at retooling, tuning of their personnel, on learning things that are not in order, learning new things and better ways of doing things.
Members of staff and other beneficiaries are happy with the development. They express how this training will impact their duties of securing oil and gas facilities in the region.
Protecting critical national infrastructure is our core mandate. Now, with this training, it has given us an edge because we are seeing another perspective based on, gadgets that are being introduced and safety protocols too.
We've been able to form oil theft. We've been able to get a well-productive system with the assistance of Tantita coming on board, making production of oil higher.
This partnership between Tantita, Top Security, and the NSCDC signals a stronger, more coordinated push to safeguard national resources and sustain the gains already made in the oil sector.
We head to Anra State now, where the government says that 8 security operatives involved in the assault, brutalization and dehumanization of a female corps member, Ms. Jennifer Elobor, are now cooling their heels in police nets. The Special Advisor on Community Security to the Anambra State government, Mr. Ken Emekai, who made this announcement in Awka today, also announced the dismissal of the suspects as they were paraded and handed over to the police for investigation and prosecution. He's warning members of the State Security Strike Force, Agune Chimba, to maintain discipline and restrict themselves to the rules of engagement, as there will be consequences for any defaulter.
In further demonstration of our openness and our readiness to be fair to everybody, we are going to take them now, with or without the girl and members of our family. We are going to take them to the police and hand them over to the police. And this is the essence of bringing them out so that everybody will see them. We are not shielding anybody. Because some people have been insinuating, somebody is trying to sweep this under the carpet. And I said, in further demonstration, that is not what we are doing. And the governor of Anambra State, Mr. Governor Chukwuma Soludo, is not interested. He has not sent us out to molest anybody. The core mandate of this outfit is to complement the federal security agencies in the provision of protection of lives and properties in Anambra State.
Meanwhile, the management of the National Youth Corps, NYSC, has condemned the assault on its corps member in Anambra State. A statement by the Acting Director, Information and Public Relations of the Corps, Caroline Embu, says the management strongly condemns the unacceptable and dehumanizing manner in which the operatives conducted their operations, irrespective of the initial justification for the purported investigation they set out to carry out at the facility where the corps members were accommodated. While appreciating the concern of the general public and the initial measures taken by the Anambra State government, the NYSC management says it supports the ongoing investigation by the Nigeria Police Force towards unraveling what transpired. In its own reaction, the National Orientation Agency, NOAA, has described the incident as regrettable and unacceptable. In a statement by the agency, disclosed that the Director General, Malam Lanre Issa Onilu, unequivocally condemned the actions, especially of persons charged with the responsibility of upholding the dignity and security of Nigerians, or any such actions that violate the rights, dignity, and personal security of Nigerian citizens. The statement reads in part, it is imperative that those who superintend over other lives up to the tenets of the Nigerian promise, which emphasizes service, accountability, and leadership by example, the abuse of power, particularly against youth corps members who serve in the national interest, undermines the very foundation of our collective values. Mr. Issa Onilu also called for the diligent prosecution of all individuals involved in the shameful act, as this is the least measure of justice due to the corps member whose rights and dignity were so brazenly violated. In part two, after the break, the People's Democratic Party accuses the ruling All Progressives Congress of plotting to use security operatives to disrupt the rerun by-elections in Zamfara State. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. President Bola Tinubu says Africa deserves 2 permanent seats on the United Nations Security Council. Pangasan President Festus Sisifo calls for improved welfare of oil and gas workers. Condemnations follow the assault on a youth corps member in Anambra State. And Israel calls up 60,000 reservists ahead of its planned offensive on Gaza City. We turn our attention to politics now. The leadership of the People's Democratic Party is accusing the All Progressives Congress of plotting to use security operatives to disrupt the rerun of by-elections in the Zamfara State election this weekend. National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Mr. Debo Olugwaba, made these allegations at the news conference in Abuja. Mr. Olugwaba also asked the APC to take responsibility for the violence that trailed the exercise last Saturday, which forced the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to declare the election inconclusive.
And of course, The APC in an operation which allegedly have the involvement of a minister from the Anra State is currently deploying, and this is important, they currently, as we speak, deploying full battalions of the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Mobile Police Force, and the Directorate of State Services, DSS, from Abuja, likely deploying from Abuja, and other parts of the country to just 5 polling units. 5 polling units, and you have those armaments going to war, as it were. The aim of this nefarious deployment is to force a siege mentality on the people of the constituency, intimidate, terrorize, and prevent them from coming out to exercise their constitutionally guaranteed rights to vote. Our party invites Nigerians and the international community to note that the APC's resort to set back intimidation and force in election is a clear signal of the creeping totalitarianism and one-party state, which the APC has stated as its cardinal goal in our country. The PDP and, of course, the people of Anra State will not accept any result that is at variance with the express will of the people, as evidenced by the already collated results from Karanamoda South State constituency.
The news at 10 continues as we head over to Abuja studios, where Millicent Walker is standing by. Over to you, Millicent.
Many thanks, Anne. Well, it is some cheery news here as residents of Wari and adjoining communities in the Federal Capital Territory will soon enjoy the relief that comes with access to potable water as the FCT Minister flags off the Wari Township Water Supply Project. Well, speaking at the official ceremony in Wari Town, the Minister says the project is part of the campaign promises the ruling party made prior to the 2023 general election.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, his political associates, traditional rulers and senior officials of the FCT administration are here for the official flag-off of the Wari Township Water Supply Project. The project, when completed, will provide potable water to residents of Wari and adjoining communities.
During the construction of this project, it will provide opportunity for jobs, directly and indirectly, and when completed, it will provide potable water to the residents of not only Wari Township, but the extension to Ushafa, to Jigo, Kuduru, Kuchuko, and other communities in Wari Area Council.
In her remarks, the Minister of State for the FCT underscores the importance of the project.
This project is beyond laying pipes and putting tanks. It is about mothers fetching clean and safe water without fear, children growing healthier, and also families living with dignity. I assure you, when this project is completed, the quality of life of our people will be improved.
The contractor pledges to deliver on the project.
During the construction period, we also can seek your strong assistance from all the stakeholders so that we can ensure timely implementation.
For the FCT Minister, the project is a promise kept, and he wants the residents to reciprocate the gesture when election comes.
You have reminded us that agreement is what? Agreement. We have agreed that we are going to bring water, and we are bringing water. Is it not? When I come back to say we have performed, you too, you will perform. Is it not? Agreement is what? Agreement. So when President has done for you, what it is your own turn to do for President. So take this as even more important than road that you have always protected when contractors are on site.
With the speech is over, the Minister proceeds to flag off the project. This symbolic flag-off exercise marks the beginning of a journey to providing potable water to rural communities in Wari Area Council of Abuja.
We'll recall the devastating floods that affected Kebbi State, which we brought to you earlier in the week. Well, the state government is calling on the federal government to take swift action in repairing several major bridges and roads that collapsed as a result. The appeal was made by the Deputy Governor of the state, Senator Umar Tafida, during an on-the-spot assessment to some of the affected areas.
Of sorrow and tears for some residents of Kebbi State as the state witnessed devastating floods, destroying critical infrastructure, including roads, bridges, homes and farmlands. One of the most alarming consequences of the flooding is the destruction of key road and bridge networks that connect Kebbi to neighboring states and local government areas, leaving many communities isolated and inaccessible.
But due to the heavy rainfall yesterday, a portion of it was washed away. We are appealing to the governor to repair the road, as it is one of the busiest routes in the area.
In response to the crisis, the Kebbi State government has set up a high-powered committee to assess the extent of the damage caused by the floods. The committee has already commenced work and visited several of the affected locations. At the Libre Bridge, which connects Kebbi State to neighboring Niger State and further down to Lagos, officials from the Federal Ministry of Works briefed the Deputy Governor. Thereafter, the Controller of Works of the ministry confirms that the State Minister of Works has ordered immediate intervention to safeguard lives and restore transport links along the affected roads.
This one that is from Jega going to has cut off completely. There is no mobile activities apart from the restaurant that is supplying the road now.
In his remarks, Deputy Governor Umar Tafida expressed concerns over the extensive damage caused by the floods. He reiterates his appeal to the federal government for further intervention to alleviate the suffering of the people and prevent further disruptions.
Similar incidents happened on some major roads, some federal roads and some state roads in Kebbi State. But by the grace of God, our governor was able to put in some rehabilitation works on some of the roads, like the Rada Bridge up there. The governor was able to do some work, and that's why, some of these roads and the bridges are still motorable.
As the flood crisis continues, residents across Kebbi State remain hopeful that swift and decisive action will be taken to ease their hardships and restore vital infrastructure.
Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has concluded the search and rescue operation at the site of the boat mishap in Sokoto over the weekend. According to the head of NEMA Sokoto Operation Office, 25 persons have been rescued alive, with another 22 persons still missing, while some bodies are yet to be confirmed. Speaking on our breakfast program, The Morning Brief, the head of NEMA said that the organization, in its efforts to prevent such accidents, has continued to engage communities and canoe operators on the right way to use the waterways.
So far, we are able to rescue 25 persons alive out of the 50 or over, because nobody can ascertain the exact number. Yesterday, we retrieved 3 bodies in different locations, which we were there when they were buried according to primary injunction, and we are still looking for about 22. But incidentally, we had to put that some bodies have been, I don't want to quote the number because we have to go there and see for ourselves, have Google and GPS location real time for us to, with the Red Cross, NIWA, and other stakeholders. Is when we compare together, we take the exact and verifiable data. Even last week, we had a simulation exercise I kept. We always consistently engage the communities, both local canoe operators, the divers, and the community leaders, youth leaders, market women, and the local government and the state officials. We always sensitize, educate, and tell them what to do.
Still ahead on the news at 10, African Development Bank and Japan unveils $5.5 billion financial package for Africa. That's on Business News. Do join us again. watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Abuja studios. We head over to the south-south region of the country where residents of Port Harcourt, the River State capital, are calling on the state government to tackle the massive waste piling up across the city. The waste can be seen all across the different suburbs of the Garden City, and residents dissatisfied with the situation are crying out to the river's waste management agency to do something urgent about it. Our correspondent Charles Oporum has more.
Port Harcourt, the River State capital, was once dubbed the Garden City as a result of its pristine greenery and cleanliness. Sadly, it seems those days are long gone. These days, the oil-rich city is battling a massive waste problem. Everywhere you turn, the eyes are inundated with heaps of refuse on the streets, sidewalks, and even road medians. A resident of Ada George wants the government to combat the issue so as to avert potential health problems.
It's been like this for some days, and for hygienic purposes, for town planning and city view purposes, it's not supposed to be like this. So I call on the River State government to do the needful to ensure that these refugees are cleared so that people can go about breathing fresh air.
Another resident complains bitterly about how the stench affects her business premises, a situation she says doesn't bode well for all involved.
Sometimes customer enter inside the showroom is smelly, you get, and it doesn't tell good of a business, and it's a closed one at that. And no matter the kind of ventilation that is there, it doesn't just tell good. And for our health, it's not just good. Okay? What's the advice to? Please, government should just do something. Sometimes it will look as if they are trying, but when this one wants to happen, God, it's not just funny. Sometimes 1 week, sometimes days, it will be here before they will pack. And the day they will pack it, here will still be smelled. It will look as if they are not just doing anything.
The NTA Mboba Road is not left out either.
I'm not pleased, actually, with what is happening here. They're supposed to have cleared this refuse, and it's an eyesore. River State was, or is known as the Garden City, and it's no longer the Garden City because refuse are heaped everywhere. You can see it's lining up to Rumukuta area, and it has not been cleared. It's really so bad. So the government should do something about it. It's not really nice.
It would appear that the issue of abandoned refuse has been exacerbated since the suspension of the governor. At the time of filing this report, however, the River State Waste Management Agency has not addressed these concerns, as they neither answered the phone nor returned messages sent to them. Charles Oporum, Channels Television News.
Well, that's it from us here in Abuja. It's back to Anne for more on the news at 10.
Thank you, Millicent. Jais Bank has expressed satisfaction with its financial performance for crossing the 1 trillion naira threshold in total assets, which improved from 580 billion naira in the year 2023 to 1.1 trillion naira in 2024, showing a significant growth of 86%. The managing director of the bank, Haruna Musa, disclosed this after the successful conclusion of their 2024 annual general meeting. The Pioneer non-interest bank's profit before tax also grew from 11.1 billion naira in 2023 to 24.4 billion in 2024, representing an increase of 121%.
Very clear. Thank you, sir.
The 13th annual general meeting of Jais Bank, Nigeria's pioneer non-interest bank, is holding virtually.
Summarizing for you, we have Mrs. Bakari.
The meeting, which is holding to assess the bank's balance sheets for the year ending December 2024, is coming hours after the bank rebranded, listing innovation, resilience, and a technology-driven banking system as part of its latest drive. The meeting is called to order as a minute's silence is held in honor of one of the bank's founding fathers, Aminu Tantata, former President Muhammadu Buhari, and other members who had lost their lives in the year under review. And then major highlights of the bank's financial performance for the year is reeled out virtually by the chairman.
We are confident that this strategic move will enhance our market presence, deepen our customer engagement, and drive sustainable growth.
This is then followed by an electronic voting for the extension of the tenure of non-executive directors. Amongst other things, the bank's assets came to 1.1 trillion naira. Its capital adequacy ratio strengthened to 23.8%. Gross earnings rose to 82 billion naira as at December 2024.
Our results reflect not only the resilience of our business model, but also the trust and confidence reposed in us by our dear shareholders, our customers, and other stakeholders.
Other big performances by the bank in the year under review also includes a profit before tax surge of 24 billion naira, a customer deposit of 94 billion naira, and a capital adequacy ratio strengthened to 23%.
Ladies and gentlemen, all these achievements underscore our unwavering commitment to delivering sustainable value, promoting ethical banking, and supporting Nigeria's economic development.
For the years ahead, officials of the bank expressed optimism in achieving greater feats, especially in the establishment of more branches and better bank balance sheets to sustain its role as a pace setter for non-interest banking in Africa. Sarah Chimugu, Channels Television News.
And to bring us more stories from the world of business is Will Ibong. Thank you, Anne. The African Development Bank and Japan have launched a $5.5 billion financing package to boost infrastructure and sustainable growth across Africa. The funds will be channeled through the Japan International Cooperation Agency to support private sector investments. The Prime Minister of Japan, Shigeru Ishiba, announced the deal at the opening of the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development in Yokohama on Wednesday. He said Japan's focus will be on private sector growth, empowering youth and women, and deepening regional integration, stressing that local solutions and stronger partnerships are key to Africa's development. Speaking of development, the Odua Investment Company Limited says several initiatives, including signed deals, are underway to revitalize commercial agriculture in the Southwest. The group chairman, Odua Investment Company, Mr. Bimbo Ashiru, made the disclosure in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, during the 60th anniversary commemoration of the iconic cocoa house built from the sweat of cocoa farmers in 1945. He also notes that a 10 billion naira deal has just been signed with a leading cocoa exporter to strengthen cocoa production within the region.
The iconic cocoa house is 60. For dignitaries seated inside the cocoa house in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, it's nostalgic. Being in the first tallest building in Nigeria and parts of West Africa. The management say it's a greater call to duty to preserve the heritage and improve the economic viability of the building.
Cocoa House began as an ambitious vision of Western Nigeria Marketing Board to create a landmark symbol of prosperity funded by the region's thriving cocoa trade. Kappa and Labato was approached because of the proven track record in delivering complex, high-profile projects across Nigeria.
Cocoa House is our talking drum. It calls us to remember who we are. She is our oriki in stone and glass, telling the whole world of the people who could plant cocoa and harvest skyscrapers.
The owners of the cocoa house, the Southwest governors, are ecstatic at what the future holds for the edifice.
The evolution of this building's name into Cocoa House reflects not only a change in name, but a deeper recognition of the pivotal role cocoa, along with rubber and timber exports, played in financing its construction and, by extension, in driving regional prosperity.
with series of initiatives evolving from projects under Odua investment, especially under agriculture. Farmers of cocoa, cassava, cashew, rubber, timber, and other cash crops in the southwest could as well get a new lease of life, a lifeline capable of putting them back on the global map as serious players in the industry.
Now, while celebrations are ongoing for Odua Investment Company, stocks remain subdued at the NGX as investors intensify profit-taking. John Mekwa has the details.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, it's still a red market. We're reporting at the close of midweek trade. 663 billion naira has been shaved off the market cap, bringing us below the 90 trillion naira level. The all share is also down, lost about 1,000 points there. So it's now at 141,566.30. The all share in the red, 0.73%. Banking is still experiencing a lot of profit taking, mostly on Accessco and GTCO today. So we see the counter in the red, 1.22%. Consumer goods was able to escape it yesterday, but not today. Today, Dangote Sugar has felt the pinch of profit taking from investors, as well as Guinness and PZ. So it's down almost 2%. That's a huge drop, an opportunity for some investors to get on board there. Oil and gas was able to escape it today. It's 0.11% because of Japan Gold and Cornell. Look at the top trades, and we see this being explained. Champion, for instance, tells us what has happened with the consumer goods counter, while insurance, both of them, that's Royal X and Universal Insurance, of course, tells us what's happening in the financial sector. Profit taking still ongoing in there. And so at the close of trade today, for a second time this week, the bear wins.
Thank you, Ini. Meanwhile, the U.S. tech stocks continue to struggle and taking a hit on the NASDAQ in the closing numbers and those of other major equities around the world. And that's business news. It's back to you, Anne. Thank you, Will. Still to come on the news at 10, Israel calls up 60,000 reservists ahead of its planned offensive on Gaza City, and that's on the foreign scene. Please join us again.
Sharon, Nigeria, we are rebuilding the nation, rebuilding Nigeria, renewing hope. As the sun is rising, our hope keeps rising, our story changing, making progress, moving forward. Every day by day, things they get better, opportunities they boom. What no go stop, no. Sharon, Nigeria, keeping hope alive for a greater Nigeria. Defending our dreams, flying our flags, keeping hope alive. We are winning. Sharon, Nigeria. Sharon, Nigeria.
Renewing hopes, rebuilding Nigeria. Powered by Citizen Connect Initiative.
So what can I get you?
Can I have some more golden penny pasta?
Tell me why you want more.
Because I enjoy slopping.
This is why I love my golden penny pasta. It's my family's favorite. What's your reason?
It's great for romantic dinner.
Reminds me of home every time.
The truly satisfying me.
It's my ultimate comfort food.
I make delicious combos with it.
I just want more.
Because I love you all.
What's your reason? Great taste? Good nutrition.
In a land where every dreamer seeks security.
Hello?
I'm Mike. One name stands strong. With POW Pensions, your wealth is preserved, securing a future for your family. With POW Pensions, every contribution grows your future.
Hello, Shade. These past pension people are really doing me well. That's why I'm encouraging you folks to go and register with them.
Turn today's work into tomorrow's security. For 2 decades, POW Pensions has been trusted to grow, establish, and secure a brighter future. Secure your tomorrow by starting today.
POW Pensions, your pal for life.
Chef.
Mr. Chef, what's your secret?
My secret is the wide range of seasoning powders from Mr. Chef. Perfect for meals such as spicy stew, goat meat, roasted beef, fried rice, and cooker.
Unleash your inner chef and explore our wide range of Mr. Chef seasoning powder.
Building Africa.
Serving happiness, nourishing families. Yum!
Welcome back. Let's now join Simon Pusey for more international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The Kremlin has played down talk of an imminent summit between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky as Donald Trump renewed his call for the two leaders to meet to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. The push for a bilateral meeting comes after the US president met Putin in Alaska last week and welcomed 7 European leaders and Zelensky to the White House on Monday. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has said American troops will not be sent to Ukraine, but the US may provide air support as part of a peace deal with Russia. Mr. Trump did not elaborate, but the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, told reporters US air support was an option.
The president has definitively stated U.S. boots will not be on the ground in Ukraine, but we can certainly help in the coordination and perhaps provide other means of security guarantees to our European allies. The president understands security guarantees are crucially important to ensure a lasting peace, and he has directed his national security team to coordinate with our friends in Europe and also to continue to cooperate and discuss these matters with Ukraine and Russia as well.
The U.S. has reached bilateral deportation agreements with Honduras and Uganda as part of its crackdown on illegal immigration. Uganda has agreed to take an unclear number of African and Asian migrants who had claimed asylum on the US-Mexico border, while Honduras will receive several hundred deported people from Spanish-speaking countries. The move is part of an attempt by Donald Trump's administration to get more countries to accept deported migrants who are not their own citizens. 6 severed heads have been found on a road in central Mexico, in an area not normally associated with cartel violence. Local authorities made the grim discovery on a route in the broadly peaceful state of Puebla. Police have not given a motive for the killings or said which of the criminal groups operating in Mexico might have carried them out. Burkina Faso's junta has expelled the UN's top official to the West African nation over a report about children caught up in the jihadist conflict. Carol Flores-Maretsniak was declared persona non grata because of her role in drafting the report that came out in March. Covering a 2-year period, the study detailed more than 2,000 cases of reported child recruitment, killings, sexual violence and abuse, blaming Islamist insurgents, government soldiers and civilian defense forces. Heavy rainfall in India's financial capital Mumbai has disrupted the lives of millions of people, submerging roads and leading to flight and train cancellations. Many parts of the city remain inundated in waist-deep water, with videos showing residents swimming through waterlogged roads as garbage gushed out from clogged sewers. Authorities have rescued nearly 600 people who got stuck on an overcrowded monorail system that stopped mid-journey. At least 23 of them had to be treated for suffocation. Eyewitnesses have filmed the moment debris skyrocketed into the air after an explosion in Wilmington in North Carolina.
Oh my gosh.
The explosion was a result of a car crashing into a building's gas line, causing it to rupture. 3 firefighters tackling the gas leak were injured in the blast. And a landmark 113-year-old church at risk from ground subsidence is being relocated in its entirety in a 5-kilometre move along a road in Sweden's far north. This time-lapse video showing it moving away on giant trailers to the new city centre. The vast red timber structure in Kiruna dates back to 1912. Travelling at a maximum speed of 500 metres an hour, the journey is expected to take 2 days. The old city centre is at risk from ground fissures after more than a century of iron ore mining. The church's move is the most spectacular and symbolic moment of the wider relocation of buildings in Kiruna, which lies 145 kilometres north of the Arctic Circle.
We have the church in itself. It's like a triangle, so it's a very good construction for moving. And we have the beams, steel beams, under here in 3 layers. And we have secured the altarpiece, the painting inside, and we have secured the organ, the church organ.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Chairman of the National Sports Commission, Show Diko, says the presidency is in the process of fulfilling the promises made to the Super Falcons following their triumph at the Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco. President Bola Tinubu approved the $100,000 and 3-bedroom flat each to the team after they won a 10th title on the continent. Nigeria's The Tigers are out of FIBA AfroBasket title contention after losing to Senegal by 16 points in the quarter-final in Angola. But the Tigers had a bright start, winning the first quarter 24-23. However, the Senegalese pulled away in the second quarter with 30-18 points and never looked back to see out the game 91-75. 4 Nigerian players were on double digits, with Ike Nwano on 15 points as top scorer, while Senegalese Branco Badio was top performer with 32 points. And the Nigerian Basketball Federation has named Port Harcourt Rivers State as one of the 4 venues to stage the 2025 Nigeria Basketball Premier League. The city will host Group B games of the Atlantic Conference, while Group A games will be in Ibadan or your state. That sports is back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu tells delegates at the Tokyo International Conference on African Development that Africa deserves 2 permanent seats on the UN Security Council. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Mwawadu. Good night.